20 capsule supply. I was just doing the math before. If that was a 60 capsule supply, there would be 12 bottles of 60 capsules. They'd be $4 each. If it was a 30 capsule supply, there are 24 30-count supplies in a 720. They'd be $2 each. So to give you a sense of the incredible savings that that 720 affords, if it was 30-count bottles or 30 capsule bottles, it would be $2. If it was a 60-count bottle, it'd be about $4. In other words, it's basically a little more than a nickel a day, whichever potency you pick, 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000, a little more than a nickel a day. So in terms of a month, you'd be spending less than $2 a month.
Wow. Oh,
for your vitamin D.
Oh my goodness.
You can't buy a bottled water for $2.
No, you can't. I mean, that's crazy when you put it that way.
So it's exciting to have that kind of savings on vitamin D, to have that kind of savings on calcium, magnesium, intensive care. Sure. Those two together, one capsule of each, you're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 cents.
Right.
And then even if you add in the vitamin K2 MK7, you're talking about 25 cents.
Nice.
So normally the price of vitamin K2 MK7 capsule is going to be more than 25 cents for the capsule. So it's fantastic, closer to 30 cents. So it's fantastic savings.
And a lot of us are doing all of these, I mean, which I know many of you are. Most of us are doing them in the large sizes because these are all things that you're going to want to take every day. Right. So I know Andrew just indicated this, but remember, on the vitamin D, you choose 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000, whatever works best for you. And then, of course, you just choose the number of capsules that you would like. Now, remember, biggest savings we have ever seen, the big thing for me is this is something you're probably going to share in the family, or if you are getting some vitamin D from some of Andrew's other products, like CoQ10 or other things.
It's easy to do the math.
Right.
That typically everyone is going to need at least 2,000 IU daily.
Right.
I take about 4,000 IU daily, and that gets me to where I want to be. Most folks will take somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 IU. You might even to take a little bit more than that if you're overweight or obese, again, as I said, because fat tends to trap or sequester the vitamin D in your body. So it's not freely available to the tissues that require it. But again, we should know our vitamin D levels. That's something that a simple blood test will reveal it. It should be something that, as our doctor tests our cholesterol and things like that, also should test our vitamin D levels. And the number that I usually shoot for is somewhere between 60 and 80. And it's usually between 60 and 80, I think it's nanograms per milliliter. That's the range.
But you know what's interesting about vitamin D, again, Andrew started talking about a lot of things before a lot of people were talking about them, and I think that's partly part of the reason your doctor requests that vitamin D level now. So if you are going to be taking vitamin D, take the right one. It's small, it's easy, it's soft, it's easy to dissolve, but it really makes a great Christmas gift. If you really want to put somebody on the path to wellness, start with any of Andrew's products, but especially with vitamin D, because chances are, I think of my dear friend Victoria. She's much younger than me. She's in her 20s. She didn't even want me to tell you her vitamin D level because it was so low. Right. We need this, Andrew. We just do.
We've received so many reviews on the product, or so many correspondence letters where folks are going to the doctor, their vitamin D level is 8, 10, 12, which is horribly, horribly unhealthy. If you're not supplementing vitamin D, in all likelihood, your level is insufficient or deficient by a long ways. So it's something that the research is compelling, that 80 to 100% of the public, if they're not supplementing vitamin D, needs to supplement vitamin D. And I wish I could tell you what you can eat to get vitamin D, but there's no good source of vitamin D. But the good news is, as important as it is, vitamin D is probably the most affordable vitamin you're going to find. So to think that you can get the vitamin D you need up to 1, 2, 3,000 IU, and you're only going to be investing about 6 cents a day is remarkable. Usually things that are that important are very expensive.
No, they really are. So remember, all of our today's specials are still available. You'll see an encore of this series of ours coming up in just a few moments. And I have to say, Andrew, when we talk about things that read like a love letter, that vitamin D 4.8 star customer pick rating.
All the products we're talking about, whether it's vitamin K2 MK7, calcium, magnesium, intensive care, vitamin D31000, the prostate supporter, ultimate women's wellness, these are all incredible customer picks with well over 95% of their reviews, positive reviews. So, and I encourage you to read the reviews, because that's the experience that you get to expect when you get the product home.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing we're in your factory, because you're through a good portion of the vitamin D already. Well, actually, all the today's specials. Most people are doing all of them.
I suspect we're going to be making some more of them tomorrow. Yes.